The 417Gamers is a group of board, tabletop, and card gamers in the 417 area code. This is the podcast. Welcome to the 417Gamer podcast, episode 26, the one with Splendor Duel and Saunsu. In the 4, Andrea and I discuss 4 things that we're looking forward to in and around the 417 area. We talk about the zombie crawl ball down in Eureka Springs. We talk about our trip to Cancun for one wedding. Then we talk about our wedding coming up at the front of November. Then we talk about Black Friday game day. And the one topic of the show, we review the gem collecting, card drafting game Splendor Duel. And in the 7, Saunsu comes back on. She was in episode 25, stayed the whole episode with us. We convinced her to come back and do the 7 questions for you. Without further ado, here's the 417Gamer podcast. Welcome to the 417Gamer podcast. My name is Rick.
And I'm Andrea.
In the 4, we like to talk about 4 things that we have enjoyed or are looking forward to in or around the 417 area. One of them might go way far past the 417 area, but that's okay.
It's okay.
Andrea, you want to talk about brains.
Brains and the zombie crawl. Every year down in Eureka Springs, they have the zombie crawl ball. Mm-hmm. And it's just everybody for themselves as zombies. They actually have a $100 cash prize for the best zombie costume, which I think is pretty cool. There are not a lot of themed events that I don't enjoy.
Right.
But I really love
You love theme.
I do.
Which we're going to talk about a game next that maybe is a little thin on theme, but you still like.
I can.
But in general, you love your theme and story.
Yes, I do. And I love Halloween, and I love that a whole city becomes zombified for one night. It is Friday, October 25th. Starts at 7 p.m. At down in Eureka Springs, down on the main strip. So if you have a good zombie makeup, head on down.
All right. I'm going to talk about our trip to Cancun. So, we had some friends that were getting married, and they decided to have a destination wedding.
I've never been to one of those before.
And you're best friends with one of them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, they gathered up some close friends and some families, and we all went to Cancun. It was my first time out of the country. It was an interesting experience going through customs and all that, and trying to make my way downtown. It was an interesting experience all the way through.
It was, because when everything was booked, we didn't realize there would be a hurricane that weekend.
No, because they booked this way back early spring.
Hurricane Milton.
Yeah, why can't you just give him back his stapler?
Man, and right as we were down there is when it peaked at Category 5, and one of the models had it heading right for us.
Yeah.
It was scary.
AccuWeather, you made us pucker really tight for
the
night.
But, knock on wood, it skirted by us. We missed it by just a hair.
Yeah.
And the wedding was beautiful. The pictures were beautiful. You can see the big thunderheads in the background for the pictures. And like, there goes Milton. We had to rush because they weren't sure that it was going to miss us, and they were shutting down the ferries. The wedding was on an island right off the coast of Cancun.
Isla Majoras?
Isla Majoras.
Isla Majoras.
Yeah, and a beautiful island, but it's small. You can see both. You can stand in the middle and see the ocean on both sides. That's how small this. That's how small this island
crazy.
Is. But it was a beautiful wedding, and we were so lucky.
Our pupper's just dreaming. He's doing a scratchy. Well, that's not the only wedding we're looking forward to.
our wedding.
I know.
3 weeks. It's 3 weeks from this recording.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Are we ready?
We better be. I don't think we have a choice.
No, we still have a couple loose ends that we need to get ironed out here in the next week or two.
Yeah, but I think overall, we've done a good job of planning.
I hope so. I hope I've been helpful.
Yeah, of course.
You know, you hear some of the guys checking out and letting the ladies just do everything. I hope I haven't done that.
No, not at all.
But, yeah. So we wanted something classy, but also with injections of nerddom.
And your gaming hobby.
And gaming, but I consider that in the nerddom too.
Yes.
So for our music, we have friends, and they'll be they have a 4-string quartet band, so they'll be doing some music for us. So we get to class up the joint a little bit, but then we give them some nerd songs to learn. Here, do some Lord of the Rings.
Well, they already had some Harry Potter that they knew, so.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be playing that too, huh?
Yep.
So you get your nerddoms in.
I do.
And then the cake topper, which we have to finalize, just where to get the cake. They're going to have meeples on top. A black and a white.
Us meeples.
Yeah.
They're little us's.
And then we got and a bride.
And then we got little meeples to put on the tables.
Yeah.
Bride and groom meeples. So yeah, we managed to get some gaming squeezed. Oh, and instead of a guest book, we have
Carcassonne tiles.
Yes, that we will have everyone sign, and then we will put them together and frame it as a keepsake.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Me too.
But like everybody says, something's going to go wrong. What's going to go wrong?
I don't know.
I don't either.
It's indoors, so hopefully, unless it floods, we're on the
You know what?
We're on the 21st floor. It would have to flood a lot to get up there.
I love my niece, but I also know that sometimes she has her 4 or 5 year old meltdown.
She's our flower girl.
She is our flower girl. And usually when I kind of pessimistically think on one thing, that's not what happens. It's something else. So maybe
that's true.
Maybe should I just pretend like she's not going to do it, and then she'll do it, and that'll be fine. That'll be our thing.
Right.
But no, I love you. I can't wait to marry you.
Oh.
That's 3. We need a 4th one. So after we're married, Black Friday game day.
Yes.
I know. We're kind of bearing the lead, but every Black Friday we get together at our friendly local game store, Meta Games Unlimited, and we play some games.
And every year, I'm surprised by how many people come.
Yeah, or don't. The first year we did this, I think it was right before pandemic. There was nobody except for us playing train games.
But it has grown every year.
It has, and I love my Black Friday game day.
And also, it's not just a game day. It's also it's not necessarily, I wouldn't call it a flea market, but
they bring in some of their vendors.
Meta Games brings in some of their favorite vendors, and they have their crafting and different nerd-related stuff, gaming-related stuff, that the artists come and set up little booths. And so it is a great place to buy Christmas gifts.
It is.
Or just something for your collection.
Metagames champions the local community so much. Local craft fairs, local conventions, local craftspeople. They hawk their wares for them, and then they set up and they try and promote as much as they can. Whenever somebody needs some painting done on miniatures, they know who to send them to. So they have a ton of wargaming peoples that like to paint, and they really just push their area community so much.
Yeah.
So that's 4 things that we've either enjoyed or are looking forward to in the 417 area, except for one was in Mexico. But we bent the rules a little bit on that one, but it was kind of a cool story, and there's a lot more story there that we're not going to really touch on here. If you know us and you want more story, ask us. We'll tell you a little bit more. But we don't really want this on recorded record. For reasons. But that was the 4. Why don't we go into our topic of the show, the one where we review a game?
Let's do it.
What are we reviewing?
Splendor Duel.
Yeah.
Let's duel.
The one topic of the show for episode 26 is a review of the 2-player Renaissance Merchant head-to-head game, Splendor Duel. In Splendor Duel, 2 players vie head-to-head to try and be the first person to get to either one of 3 thresholds. Either have 10 crowns, have 10 points in a single color, or have 20 points overall. On a player's turn, there's an optional thing at the front to where you can, if you have a privilege, you can cash it in to take a chip. Or you can kick a privilege to your opponent to refill the board, and then you take your main action. Your main action is one of 3 things. You can either take chips on the board, and the chips you can take are gems and or pearls.
Yeah.
If you take 3 of the same color, your opponent gets a privilege. If you take 2 pearls in a go, your opponent gets a privilege. Instead of taking chips, if you can afford it, you can buy one of the cards. And then third and final, you can reserve. There are gold chips on the board that can be drafted just like the gems and the pearls, but the only way to take a gold is by reserving. The card play is very similar to previous Splendor, where they're splayed out, and you draft them by spending the gems to get them. And honestly, this is the 2-player version of its predecessor from 2012, Splendor, by Marc-Andre. This is designed by Marc-Andre and I want to say Bruno Cathala. Yep, Bruno Cathala, published by Space Cowboys, and this came out in 2022. I didn't know if we needed a 2-player Splendor, because Splendor played pretty nice at 2, but I did prefer it at 3 or 4. Andrea, your thoughts on, did we need a Splendor Duel?
We sure did.
Yeah, we like this.
We didn't know we did, but we did. We pull this out all the time.
Yeah.
It stays in our front room because that's how often we grab it and play it.
Yeah, we're going to spoil a future February episode because we usually like talking about 2-player. Or we're going to probably do our favorite 2-player only games coming up, and it's got to be in there for us.
We were talking about why do we like this game so much. It is, for me, we're pretty evenly matched because of the randomness of the card deal.
Yeah.
Like you could start off with a plan to get, you're like, okay, I'm going to get all the crowns. I'm going to get 10 crowns and I'm going to wrap that way. And then you might have 3 or 4 cards where no crowns come out because not all of the cards have crowns on them. Or you might be like, oh, I only need 1 more point in blue and I win. And then no blue cards come out for several turns and then your opponent wins. So that randomness, I think, keeps either one of us from just, steamrolling the other. But you do have to have a strategy. You have to know what you're doing. And I don't know why we like it so much. I mean, we like regular Splendor just fine. And Splendor and Splendor Marvel are both really good gateway games. I wouldn't say that Splendor Duel isn't a gateway game, because if you gave it to someone, who was a novice, I think they could understand it. It's not too overly complicated.
Right.
But we have lent our copy to a few couples who were heavier gamers, and they really liked it. And they thought, a couple
of them adored it, bought their own copy and gave it back to us. One apologized they had it for so long.
Yeah. So there is enough chunkiness there. If you are in a state where you're a very experienced gamer and you're looking for another 2-player game for just you and your significant other or a friend, I think this is a great choice.
So when we grade these games, we look at 5 criteria. presentation. How does it look on the sales shelf? How does it look on your shelf at home? And how does it look when it's out on the table? Second criteria is components and rulebook. How nice are the components? How easy is it to get through that rulebook? The third criteria is gameplay. How well does the game play for you? And how does it scale? This one, there's not going to be much to talk about scale, but theme. How much does the theme incorporate into the game? Do you like the theme? Then it factor. How much do you want to play this game?
Right.
We add all that up by the total possible points, divide by the total possible points, and we get our final score. Andrea, presentation for Splendor Duel.
Okay, so that is a tricky one. We have other games that have better table presence because this is, at its heart, a card game. You have, 3 rows of cards that you're choosing from. However, the chips and the board are fairly eye-catching.
Mm-hmm.
You have, it comes with a really nice little bag.
Yeah.
To put a good quality bag to put your little discs in. They kind of very similar to the sizes of poker chips.
Yeah.
And they feel the same weight as a good poker chip, I think. So I'm gonna go. I want to give it a 3.75, but I'm actually gonna give it a 3.5 because I don't think someone walking by is going to stop in their tracks and be like, whoa, what's that game? But it does. There's enough to it to give it a good score for me.
So I will agree with you that the average person's not going to walk by this and see much.
Yeah.
But this is standing on the shoulders of its predecessor's name. Mm-hmm. So there's some cachet that was built up for it. So I'm going to give it a little bit more there. You're right. On the table, it looks nice. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look amazing, but it looks really nice. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give it the 3.75 that you were just shy of. Right. I really like it. The box itself with the yellow and the blue and the font, it catches my eye most of the time.
It catches your eye because it's the same font and design as regular Splendor.
And I know we like it, but there's a couple other 2-player games we really like also, but this one comes out as much, if not more, than the other ones.
It does.
I mean, so I'm at a 3.75. Yeah. We're looking at components and rulebook next. The rulebook is really easy. It's a couple pages. Mm-hmm. When we first got this, I don't think there was a video out. I think I read through the rules to get us through this one. And I don't usually have to do that a lot.
Right.
But this one we got through. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's the privilege. It was the new thing that got added to it that Splendor doesn't have. Mm-hmm. And then the nobles in this game. In regular Splendor, nobles, you just get them if you have the appropriate number of cards and their points. In this one, the nobles are replaced by like townsfolk. Mm-hmm. There's 4 of them. And when you get 3 crowns, you can apply for one of them. One will give you a privilege. Another one is like the a street rat or street thug. He steals a chip from your opponent. Another one lets you take another turn. And then the last one's just straight 3 points. Yeah. All the other cards are worth 2, but that one is just worth 3 points.
Right.
And while it doesn't have a power, depending on how you're setting up later in the game, that 3 points could be it.
Yeah.
So after 3 crowns, you can get 1. After 6 crowns, you can get a second. But that's the most you can get out of those characters.
Right.
Component-wise, nice chunky chips, just like Splendor. Mm-hmm. Like you said, the bag's really nice. When it splays out, the cards and the art are really nice. Andrea, anything to add on components and rulebook?
No, I said the bag to mix the chips up in, kind of like the little bag you get in Quacks of Quedlinburg, yep. is really nice quality. The cards are slightly smaller than regular playing deck cards.
Yeah, they're like the if you get Ticket to Ride, you get those little cards. Unless you get the 1910 expansion, mm-hmm. They're about that size.
Right.
If you've played Splendor Duel or Seven Wonders Duel, it's about the same size cards.
Mm-hmm. So, but they're still, even though they're smaller, they're good quality. We've played the heck out of this game, and we've not sleeved the cards, and they still hold up really well.
They sure do.
So, you know what? I am going to go ahead with the 3.75 on this one.
There you go. I think I'm right there with you. I want to take a peek at the MSRP. The MSRP I think is $28,
which is very reasonable for as much as we've played this game.
For as much as we've played this, yeah. So you were at a 375.
Yes.
I'm gonna give it just a 3.5.
Really?
Yeah, because it's almost $30, and at $30, it was hard for us to pull the trigger, but
it's worth it.
I think we're gonna look at the next one gameplay. That's where it brings back up for me.
There you go.
So gameplay. How intuitive is the gameplay? How fun is the gameplay?
Well, like I said, there's enough randomness that every time we play it, it's a different game. Because I'm going to play the same strategy that won me the last game. It's not going to work for the next game.
Both of us have won all 3 ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, the board is always going to be filled up with chips. Because there's a board that has little arrows that kind of do that little Fibonacci spiral out. That's how you fill the board. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be, the gems are going to be set different every time. And then the cards that build your little pyramid to draft from, there's level 3s, 2s, and 1s, just like regular Splendor. Mm-hmm. I like the gameplay. I think it's an easy teach. I think it's an easy play.
You know, I'm going to say that I like the gameplay better than I like Patchwork. Because
really?
Patchwork is another 2-player game that we play a lot of. But there are more levels to this game. Patchwork is pretty straightforward. You get pieces, you put them on your board, you get money to buy more pieces. You know, like I said, this one has several different paths to victory. Patchwork, you got one, really. So there are more intricacies and different levels of this game. So I think on this particular criteria, I'm going to give it a 4.0.
Ooh.
Because I was just sitting here thinking, how does it compare to our other 2-player games that we
really like Patchwork, but
pull out frequently?
Since we've gotten Splendor Duel, Patchwork has hit the table a few times,
but not like it used to.
There's only a couple of others that get pulled out as much as Splendor Duel.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about those maybe later, or absolutely probably February.
Sure.
I'm with you. I'm going to go just a tad above you. It's 4.25.
There you go.
I really like drafting. I really like the gameplay. Like I said, the easy teach, the easy play. Mm-hmm. And I think that somebody, unless they just hate the game, if they get through that first game and they kind of get their butt whooped, if they come right back around and you play a second game, I think that they can pull themselves up.
Yeah.
And be competitive on that second game and potentially win.
Everyone starts this game on the same level, I feel like.
Theme.
As you know, theme makes or breaks the game for me.
Yeah.
This one, I don't really feel like, other than the theme is Splendor, like the other Splendors that we've played, the set collections.
Yeah, and the theme is your gem traders, merchants.
Yeah. But it could be anything. You could be collecting different breeds of dogs, or you could be collecting anything, tennis shoes. I don't know. I don't know that the gems and the nobles really are intricate into this game.
Sure.
So I don't know. Theme, I'm going to go 3.5.
You're being generous. I'm going a flat 3, and I'm going a flat 3 because there's Splendor Marvel out there.
Yeah.
And if they come out with a Splendor Marvel duel, I'm probably getting it for us.
Oh, yeah. I would hope you would.
And there's some games that we've played, and we're forgiven of them because they are Euros, and we really like them. And we've talked. We love this game. We played the crap out of this game.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody that craves a story and you crave, that theme to mean something, whenever you, like viticulture, when I take a worker to go on the crush pads to make my grapes into wine, you're picking up some gems ready to buy a card.
Right.
There's not a lot of theme to your movement.
No.
it's all tied to the gameplay, and maybe I might have put the gameplay a little low because it does shine so much above the theme, despite the theme, I should say.
I agree.
So I'm at a 3. You're at a 3.5 on theme. It Factor. How much do you want to play this game?
We just played it, and I'd play it again right now with you. You won, and I needed one more turn, and I feel like, come on, let's go again.
I said, what about recording? Okay. So she's recording because she loves you guys.
Right.
So, It Factor, where are you?
I give it a 4.5.
You're giving 4.5?
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 5.
Are you? A perfect 5.
On It Factor. Out of our 2-player games, this is one of my favorites. You win this as much as I can bring up our stats. That's not our stats. Splendor Duel. You have won 57% of the time. You have 11 wins to my 8 wins out of the 19 games we've played together.
Yes.
And I love this game. And I same with you, when we put the recording equipment away, I might be willing to play again. I probably would be willing to play again. That's how much I love this game. And so the 417 Gamers Thursday nights, we generally just play games. But about once a year, we pull out 2-player games. Splendor Duel comes with us, no matter what other 2-player games we decide to bring.
Splendor Duel comes with us, first of all, because it's a smaller box that fits in the game bag. And also, if you and I have time to kill between other groups, or we have it.
Yeah. The only thing is, it's for the little box it's not a table hog, but it does need table space.
Yeah, it does.
So if you're at a little cafe with those little bitty tables,
yeah, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work there.
No.
But when we stayed down in Cancun, we had a nice enough table in our room that we probably could have played this.
We could have,
had we had the time to do such a thing.
Sure.
We didn't, but
no.
So, at presentation, Andrew, you were at a 3.5. I was 3.75. Components and rulebook, you were a 3.75. I was at a 3.5, so we flipped there. Gameplay, you were 4 flat. I was 4.25. The theme, you were at 3.5. I was 3 flat. But then in the It Factor, you're 4.5. I'm all the way at a 5. When you take the possible points, which is 25 max, you take our total graded score, divide by. Andrea, your final score for Splendor Duel is a 77, and mine is a 78.
Nice. And I feel like that's even a little bit misleading, because how I feel in my heart about this game, it should be higher.
I know, but it's just being honest to what it is.
Right. You know, I can't say that it has the most beautiful components, because it doesn't, you know?
No, and it's not the most thematic game out there.
Right. But
and honestly, if they slapped Marvel on there and put me some characters that I'm trying to go after the Infinity Gauntlet against you, I'd bump that theme up.
Sure.
You know, a good, probably at least half to 3/4 of a point.
Yeah.
But I'm just collecting some gems to buy some cards. And I know they put a theme in there, and maybe that plays in other cultures more than it does us.
But when I stop and think, a 77, gosh, because if I ranked it against the other 250 games you have, it's going up in the top 10 probably.
Right? Because that's.
So don't let that percentage stop anyone from getting this game.
If you're somebody that plays quite a bit of 2-player games, especially with your significant other, and there's one little move in here that you have to be okay with hate drafting in this game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games that you don't have to.
You have to in this.
You have to, and not to be mean.
Right.
But there's a lot of instances where
if I see you only need 2 crowns to win and a crown card comes up, I have to take it, or you're gonna.
Because there's single crowns on the first level, there's some double crowns on the second level, and then there's some triple crowns on the third level.
Yeah.
So if I've got that built up, and you know that's gonna put me over on crowns,
I have to take it.
And I have no problem because I'm used to it and I know the mechanics.
Right.
But if you have somebody that gets a little butthurty with
Sure.
hate drafting. I get why you might not like that aspect. But I think that's the only negative I got on it. Mm-hmm. The theme is flat, and it's got some hate drafty.
Yeah, that's it.
Otherwise,
good game.
If you like two-player games and you get them to the table quite often, and you want something that plays in about 45 minutes, I think this has to be in your collection. Not has to, but I think it should.
I agree.
All right. We love Splendor Duel. Our grades are 77 and 78. You know what? Why don't we bring Saunsu back in here and give her the questions of a 7?
Let's do it.
The 7 in the 417Gamer podcast is 7 of a category. Saunsu, she came on, and we talked about learning games, and now we're going to run her through the 7 questions. Number 1, what is the earliest game you remember playing, and what was your first hobby game?
The earliest games I remember playing are like Boggle and Rummikub and, of course, Monopoly, Yahtzee, all of those classics. My absolute first hobby game that I would consider my first hobby game that got me into that realm of things would be Splendor and Takedo.
Yeah, Splendor's excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Number 2, what color do you prefer to play as if you're given the choice?
Which is fought over quite frequently. My color is green.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm always green.
Yeah.
If I can be. If I can't be green, then I will go red. But if I can at all help it, green. Always.
When I first joined the group, there was like 4 or 5 people that fought for green. Now it's blue.
Yeah.
There's like 4 blue players that are very serious about blue. Like whenever they set their game up, they take the blue pieces and scatter the other pieces.
Yeah. I will always. If I pull a game out, I pull the green and go, okay, here you go. Here's your choices.
Number 3, what is your favorite gaming convention or conventions?
My favorite gaming convention that I have experienced so far was actually Geekway.
Nice.
Doing all the demoing, I actually did pull double duty. I worked for All Play in the morning hours, and then in the evening hours, I did Envoy.
Mm-hmm.
But even in doing that, I still had enough downtime in between everything that I still got to play games. And it's just, I don't know, that I was there with people I knew. And so it made it really enjoyable. It was also the first time I got to see Wonderland's War.
Yeah.
And that game on the table is just beautiful.
It's got great art.
It does.
Number 4, do you prefer to play solo, 2-player, or multiplayer games? And which do you actually get to play more of?
I'm not a big solo player. I play a lot of 2-player and greater, and really I prefer any. Just getting to play, period.
Yeah.
I don't care what the player count is. I want to play.
Number 5, how many games are you in your personal collection? Just estimate.
No, I actually know.
Do you?
Yes. I recently got set up on BGG.
Yeah.
One of my friends helped me get set up on it. Thank you, Lisa. And I actually have, with my expansions, 236.
Nice.
30 of those are expansions.
That's okay.
Number 6, is there a game that you have not won but you really want to?
No, because yet again, to me, it's not about winning the game. It's playing and spending the time with the people that I enjoy spending time with.
Yeah.
Life and work can be so hectic that for me, this is how I refill my cup. This is how I find balance in my life and how I deal with all the frustration and headache and whatnot that is life itself. So
yeah,
I think a lot of the group would agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 7, one piece of advice you'd send back to yourself as you were just getting into the hobby.
Do it sooner.
Listen to your husband.
Listen to my husband. Pay attention to him sooner.
Then past you be like, nah.
and stay away from Kickstarter.
That's what
That is my downfall right now. Kickstarter and GameFound. Like, oh god. They flood my Facebook right now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I don't need to see another game that I think I have to have. Because I do have to have. And I have to have the deluxe version, darn it!
Well, yeah.
I stay off there. I only go on there on the games that I need, that I know either aren't. Okay, hear me out. There's a game called Fromage. It's making cheese with worker placement. And at the time, it was just some guys that were trying to get their game published, and I didn't think anybody was going to pick it up. So that's a game I need. It's worker placement and it's cheese. How could you go wrong with worker placement and cheese? And then now South African Rails from Capstone Games. I didn't need to kickstart that one, but I kind of want it when it comes out. I don't want to have to wait for it to come to retail.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the metal trains with it. I just got the game because we have the first 3, and our game shelf's going to look weird if we don't have the 4th one there.
So therefore, needed it.
That's why I need Monster Box of Monsters.
Right.
I have the rest of it.
If you have the tiny epics,
piece.
Right, yeah.
As long as they don't do a weird thing like some of your books do with the spine, where like 3 titles are spaced exactly, and then that 4th one's kind of like they've elongated the spine art to where it doesn't fit, then I'm not going to be happy. Saunsu, thank you for answering the 7 questions.
Definitely.
Now we talk about your favorite 7 games.
Ooh, should we go backwards?
Yeah, number 7.
Okay. Number 7. Oh, number 7 would be Queen by Midnight.
You don't say.
Yeah. It is, for me, I'm a huge, if it's beautiful on the table, I have to have it. Have to. There's no... But it's a deck builder, and I really like deck builders.
Yeah.
And it played a larger number of people, because it plays 6.
That's good.
And the clock tower is just beautiful. It really is. And then my number 6, and really it should probably really be farther up on the scale, would be Wormspan.
That's fine where it is.
Yeah. Shush.
Oh, come on.
Wingspan's not on my list at all.
I know that, but there was a mistake, and we understand.
I absolutely love Wormspan. It has the best player aids. It had the best rule book. And then the art on the cards, the dragons, they are just amazing. Yeah. They did such a good job with that. And I love that, unlike Wingspan, I can actually get an engine going.
And teach other people how to do it.
Right? I know, right?
Wormspan's just Wingspan on training wheels.
Okay, whatever.
Uh-huh.
All right, my number 5 would be River Valley Glassworks. I actually got to demo this at Gen Con. I got introduced to it, the prototype, at Dice Tower West when I met both Joe and Mark, who are the big guys that all play.
Nice.
But it reeled me in because it's that it took a bit to get because of the double scoring possibility. So it was a little confusing, but when it was a stunning looking game on the table. And then its ease of playability. And it doesn't get old. They added an expansion to it, and I've played the expansion a little bit, but I play it more without the expansion than I do with.
Oh.
And it's very enjoyable. It's one that you can bring out to any group. It's a 20-minute play. So it can be that beginning or that end of your night type thing. It's a good backup for that.
Nice.
After that, Quacks of Quinlanburg. My first introduction to Quacks was actually when I moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was with, I cannot think of his name right now.
Don?
No.
No.
No, not at all. He does the,
Miles, Ben,
No.
Ethan.
no. Queen City.
Oh, Greg Palmer.
Greg.
Yes, Greg.
Queen
Yes.
City Cardboard.
Yes, Greg. Greg introduced me to Quacks, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the whole push your luck aspect. I loved the whole bag building. It was so much fun, and literally after playing that, I bought it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had never played it before, and that, yeah. It
And
was a
whether
lot of
you
fun.
use the upgraded chips or not, I absolutely recommend you getting the first expansion just for the 5th player.
Yeah, I have not yet. It's on my list. But it was fun because my most memorable aspect of it is teaching my, at the time, 6-year-old grandson
Yeah.
how to play it. And he enjoyed it.
That's
so
good.
even at 6, he understood everything and was able to play it. My number 3, and not a lot of people have heard of it, is Night Parade of 100 Yokai. Yeah, it's hard to find. It's actually getting, I think, re-released on Kickstarter or something like that.
Sure.
But I know they had it recently in the GTM magazine. The expansions for it,
Okay.
they were re-releasing. They're supposed to be coming out in October. But it is, it's a Bausch. I'm not sure how to say the name. Bausch. Yeah, game. But it's the meeples. The meeples are absolutely adorable.
Aw.
Yeah.
The artwork is really cool as well. And it has so much playability because it changes. You can rearrange the tiles. It was one where I got the base game, and I knew that there were expansions to it.
Yeah.
And I had to literally find a company overseas to get the player mat, the neoprene mat for it, because nobody here had it, and if they had it, they wouldn't ship it.
Yeah.
So I had to go overseas to get the player mat, and then I ended up finding the entire collection, the base game with all the expansions and upgraded bits and all of that. And I got it, and I ended up selling my original to Jess,
Yeah.
so that she could have it in the cafe.
Nice.
Because she loved it when I taught it to her. And my number 2, ironically, as simple as it is Bears and the Bees by Grandpa Beck. This is literally my go-to. It is, in a way, a tile placement, but it's cards.
Yeah.
And it's puzzly.
Yeah.
And I love puzzly. It is so easy, and it's really cute and fun. And we will play it when we're like, what should we play? What should we play? I don't know. What do you want to play? And so,
that's it.
But fine, we'll play Bears and the Bees. But my number 1 is Arborea.
Yeah. Alley Cat Games.
Mm-hmm. That is my all-time favorite game right now. It's just, it's a beautiful board. It's very, very busy and looks very overwhelming. And ironically, it took me forever to get it. Thank you, Gen Con, for them having it there, because prior to that, I had seen it at Meta, tried to get it, but didn't. My friend Rick got it, and we've played it several times, and every time both Meta and Meeple tried to get it, it's on back order. And so it's like, I don't want to play this. But the first time we played it, I actually, in a sense, broke the board. And I scored more points than what was supposed to be possible.
Awesome.
But, I mean, we did find out that we played it wrong. But that's okay, I won.
Yeah.
Right. This still counts.
It still counts.
We all played with the wrong rules.
But yeah, it's just it's a lot of fun. It's not one that is overly easy to teach. It is a little more on the complicated side and takes a little more, like, really running people through a couple of rounds and you'll get it. And the only thing I don't like is that you have to share the built resources. So you could build them and somebody will take them.
Oh.
So yeah. But other than that is my favorite.
Well, Saunsu, thank you for coming on 417 Gamer Podcast. If you want to find Saunsu, a lot of times she's at Village Meeple Board Game Cafe.
Yes.
There's a cot in the back they have for me.
Yeah. Check their events tab. When you go down there, a lot of the demo days, that's Saunsu. She's wanting to teach you a game. Go out there. Learn the game.
Yeah.
And if you're on Meetup, meetup.com/417gamers, check some of those demo nights because we are sharing Saunsu's and Jen's when they're out at the Barnes & Nobles and other stores trying to teach you games. But until then, keep gaming in the 417. Goodbye! The 417 Gamer Podcast is created and recorded by Rick Bagwell and Andrea Smith. The music we use for our intro, Kind, Gentle, Beautiful Person, and our outro, Making Up for Lost Time, was created by Origami Reptico. For links to the music and our show notes and to any of our guest info, head over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Hobby Gaming Network. And until the next episode, keep gaming in the 417.